Hey everybody, it's Sandy from Seeking Paranormal, and I am coming to you from the resting place of Beverly Smith. I do have permission to be here from a family member, just so you know I'm not here disrespecting. I am by a road, so you're going to hear traffic going by, so I am going to try to raise my voice so that you can hear me clearly. This is part two to my part one. So if you haven't had a chance to see my part one, I will link it below if you would like to go ahead and watch that. And I ask in the comment section, please, 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 please be respectful with the comments and maybe try not to direct them towards the family. I'm sure that a lot of you have watched the docuseries on Prime that was dropped by Prime, and a lot of information was left out of that. So I'm going to be giving my own opinion, and just wanted to let you know that I actually researched this case a year before I even knew that Prime was dropping the docuseries. So I've done my own research. So, and you guys can go and do your own research as well, and in doing that, you'll notice that a lot of information was left out of what was posted to Prime. So I'm here to give my opinion on that and also perform an investigation as well. Again, with permission from a family member. So I do not come here with any ill intent, and I mean no disrespect at all. And everything that, all the information that I have researched and found that I'm putting in this video, as well as my part one, is for entertainment purposes only. I am not out to shame, defame, or hurt anybody's name in any way, shape, or form. I'm not out to, assassinate anyone's character. That's not what this is for. It's not what this is about. My intention was more to focus on Beverly, as again, what was dropped by Prime was about Alan Smith. And I know that just as I was intrigued by what happened, a lot of you are as well, and completely understandable. It's a cold case that, is almost 50 years old. So, it's going to pique our interest, especially for me because it's so close to home. When I researched it, I had probably as many questions as the rest of you. And why? What happened? Why her? The thing that bothered me a lot about the Prime video was that the focus wasn't on Beverly. And to me, I kind of understand where Prime was going. It was kind of like what Netflix did with the Avery case. I see where they're going with that, but in all respects, in my opinion, if you've confessed to a murder, not obstruction of justice or, selling a dime bag, you confess to a murder multiple times, that's got to hold some weight. So Alan Smith suing the city for millions and millions of dollars, where I think, in my opinion, their family should be receiving that money because of what happened. Like, on the night of her murder, the police showed up to the crime scene coming from a Christmas party, intoxicated. They basically destroyed the crime scene. There was evidence that was lost, crucial evidence that was lost. There was what was taken from under her fingernails. There were hairs that were there that could have been analyzed and maybe not so much back then, but as time goes on, and this case has been going on for so long, they could have analyzed that by now. So if the crime scene hadn't been contaminated the way it was, if protocols were followed properly, maybe not showing up intoxicated, could have been a big help. I do understand and take into consideration that it did happen in 1974. However, you have a duty to uphold the law. You're a police officer, and there were multiple police officers on the scene. So what took place was completely, it was just a huge debacle. So if anybody should be suing the city, it should be Beverly's family and not Alan Smith. Alan Smith full-on confessed twice to a murder. And in my opinion, if that was me, if I was being accused of murder, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to hold my ground. And if I'm innocent, I'm going to say until my last dying breath that I'm innocent. There's no way in hell that I'm going to stand there and confess twice to a murder. Not only that, but confide in what he thought was a friend. I'm not going to confide to a friend that I committed a murder. And then I'm not going to go along with a body dump years later. How would you even possibly be comfortable with that? You're telling me that it's under duress. This is what I'm seeing in the docuseries, and this is what I'm finding in the research. But if you don't want to do something, you don't have to do something. He could have went to authorities at that point in time and said, hey, but he didn't. And that was his choice. Those were the choices that he made. So let's take that into account. Let's use common sense and logic and take that into account. I do think that the Mr. Big sting operation, it went way too far. I do think that the police pushed the envelope with that. I don't agree with how that went down at all. I think that if they had left that part out, that he would have been convicted on his own. We all know that Beverly was murdered in her home. Literally shot execution style in the back of her head. So a lot of people are asking, why was the husband called? So to answer that question, I would like to say that if any of you are married, you would know that, which I'm married, and my husband works nights as well, same as hers. And if I'm feeling uneasy about something, my husband loves me, and he will, exactly what her husband did, he will check in on her. It's kind of a given. Come on, you guys. It's literally common sense. Everybody's, from the comments that I've read and other videos that I've watched, everyone's like, look at the husband, look at the husband. Easy enough to say, but you're not walking in his shoes. You weren't walking in Beverly's shoes, nor was I. But just coming from a married woman, if I'm uneasy about something and I'm calling family members for weeks to say, hey, can you come and stay with me? I'm not feeling like being alone tonight. Would you mind coming and staying with me? And her husband's aware of this. The night of her murder, no one was able to come and stay with her. So he called in to check on her, and you guys are kind of blowing that way out of proportion to be like, oh my God, husband called, and You know, why would he do that? It was a setup. Like, she was targeted. Oh, he wanted her dead. So let's take a little step back. If you have a 10-month-old baby, and I don't mean to put down any fathers that are single fathers, not in any way, shape, or form. But if you have a single, if you're planning on being single, murdering your wife and being single, and having a 10-month-old to raise while you're working nights, you think that'd be an easy job? I'm gonna go with a no on that. I was a single mom for quite some time, and my husband was a single father who worked nights, and he fought for custody of his daughter, and unfortunately wasn't granted custody because he worked nights. So, literally, those comments irked me the most. The fact that Alan Smith confessed to the crime twice, you can even hear it on the tapes. Again, going back to the Prime video, when he said, this is before the Mr. Big Sting operation. It was when he had the undercover with him. So prior to him being with, the boss who wanted dirt on him, this was prior to that, when he turns to his friend and says, remember that thing I told you about? Well, that kind of gives some leverage as to like where he's at, what he's okay with doing. Like he's befriended this person that he thinks is his best friend. And not only has he spoken to him about this crime, if you didn't do it, why would you confess to it twice? Why wouldn't you stand your ground? To me, that makes absolutely no sense. And maybe I'm just too logical of a person. But there's that. There's, if you've already been arrested and rearrested for this murder, why on earth would you then go ahead and feel comfortable doing a body dump? Or even talking about that murder, where you could go to prison again. It makes no sense. And that's where my brain's stuck on that. So, but again, coming from a logical perspective, just common sense. But the wife, Linda Smith, that happened to her, I think that was horrible. With what Patricia did to her and what the police did to her to try to get her to confess to the crime, and then she was arrested, recanted her original statement, and literally went to jail for it. That went too far. I think even the Mr. Big Sting operation just went too far. They pushed the envelope with that. But like I said, this family's been really going through it. It's almost 50 years now. No closure, no anything. When the police came to the crime scene originally, they were coming from a Christmas party and they were drunk. And they contaminated the crime scene. They lost evidence. There was a cigarette that was in the ashtray that, it gives you some kind of time frame. It lets you know that she had let this person or persons in and sat down her cigarette, turned around, and no fault of her own. The one thing that everyone's going on about as well is that her husband was a drug dealer. Let's be honest. It's marijuana. Some of you are making it seem like it's like there was a meth lab somewhere in the house, maybe the basement. I don't know. But I think that that's being blown out of proportion. Even in the Prime documentary, you've got Alan Smith sitting there rolling joints left, right, and center. And that seems to be okay. But, and this is my opinion, this is all my opinion, I don't think that it's fair to look at the family and say, you know, oh my God, you know, he was selling heroin or meth or crack, cocaine. It just went too far, in my opinion. That went too far. It's marijuana. It's used for medicinal purposes. Like, I mean, anybody that has ailments, depression, arthritis, epilepsy. I'm epileptic. I can go on, and y'all know it. So, and it's legal. Like, now it's legal. Why? Because there's no harm in marijuana. It can be used for so many purposes. And again, that's my opinion. And take it as you will. So you can come for me in the comments if you want to. I just don't think that that her husband had anything to do with it. But I do know that Beverly was not a fan of that taking place. So that being said, I am going to see if she's going to communicate with me through the rods, and I'm going to ask some questions and see what we get. So let's dive in. Beverly, can you please give me your yes answer? Thank you. For those of you that have never used like dowsing rods, I use them in different ways, but today I asked for her yes answer. So any answer that comes crosses in is yes, and anything that goes outward will be no. So just to clarify that in case you're wondering what the answers are. Beverly, are you okay that I'm back here again to speak with you? Thank you. Would you mind straightening the rods out? Thank you. Can you point to where you're standing? Okay, thank you. Sorry, guys. Again, don't mind the mosquitoes. I'm going to try to ask questions while the cars are not passing by, just so that you guys can hear what I'm asking. Beverly, are your favorite flowers orange roses? Thank you. And Beverly, you can use my energy to use the rods, just like last time, okay? Thank you. And I know I speak softly, guys, so if I sound like I'm screaming, it's just so that you guys can hear me in this video. Beverly, am I wearing glasses right now? Thank you. So I wanted to ask you, the night of your murder, did you try to call your sister? And she said that she was out on a date, or she was going out on a date, so she couldn't come over and spend time with you. Thank you. Sorry, guys, that was actually an earwig. So, that, yeah. I'm not going to splice that out because I would like to continue just recording. Beverly, does your mother's name start with the letter F? Thank you. Does your mother's name start with the letter H? Thank you. Do you visit your daughter? Thank you. Do you visit her often? Thank you. Was the day that your daughter was born, was that the best day of your life? Oh. Okay. So I know that I asked you quite a few questions last time. Are you okay if I ask you some of the same questions again? Thank you. Mm. Were you apprehensive for the weeks leading up to your murder? Thank you. Did your husband know that you were feeling uneasy, that you had all these uneasy feelings and you didn't want to be alone at night? See people? Same. It's my understanding that there were marital issues. That aside, were you guys still in love? Thank you. That's a big yes. Do you visit Barbara? This is a hard one, but I'm going to ask, are you at peace? Yes and no. Okay, so there's mixed emotions there. That's understandable. Not that I know what that feels like. Is it peaceful for you to visit your family members? Is that when you're most at peace? Or when they come visit you here? Okay. Was your favorite color orange? No. So I'm getting the same answers as last time. Even I'm asking a few different questions, but I'm getting the same answers as last time. So, and I can throw that footage up for you guys too if you want to see it. Um, the Did Linda Smith have anything to do with your passing? Okay. Jeez. Is it that she was aware of what happened to you? Was it Linda that found you? No? Can you straighten the rods for me? So what I mean, was it Linda that found you? What I'm asking is, do you know if it was Linda that saw you through the door? Through your... It was. So, thank you. Do you want to point to where you're standing? So Linda saw you through the door. Was the door kicked in when Linda saw you through the door? Where's that? Is it stuck? Was it Al Smith that kicked the door in? No. Was it police or ambulance that kicked in the door? Right in my ear. Was there more than one person that entered your home that night when you opened the door to let them in? Let him, her, them inside? Thank you. Was it a male and a female? Was there one male that entered your home that night? No. Were there two males that entered your home that night? The two males that entered your home. Oh, sorry, guys. The two males that entered your home that night was one of them Alan Smith? Okay. Was the other one Daggle? Besides Smith and Daggle, was anybody else there that night? Besides your daughter? So the only two people that entered your home that night prior to police ambulance were Alan Smith and Daggle? Okay. Was it Alan Smith that had the gun? Yes. Okay. Did Daggle also have a gun? Okay. If Alan Smith shot you, make the rods go outward. If Daggle is the person that shot you, make the rods go inward. Was there any point in time that you knew that they were there to harm you? No. Okay. Did you see their guns? No. Mm. Did they come to your house with the premise of buying marijuana? Prior to the night that you were taken away from your family, were you threatened by anyone from Satan's Choice? No. Prior to that night, sorry. Prior to the night that you were shot, did you for any, oh gosh. Prior to the night that you were shot, did you have any inclination that you were in danger from anyone? No. The night of your murder, did you call your mother to see if she would come over, and she said that she had some Christmas shopping to do, so she couldn't come? Okay. Was the reason for you calling um, family members and friends to come and stay with you simply because you didn't like being home alone at night by yourself with the baby? No? Was there another reason you were calling your family members to come over and stay with you at night while your husband was at work? Was it that you just had a gut feeling that something was bad was going to happen? Intuition, my friends. It's like a sixth sense. Is there any evidence that is still with the police that can help solve this case? Yes. Do you know that they lost the scrapings and the hairs that were under your nails? That evidence was lost? No, you didn't know that? Is that the evidence that you thought would help solve the case? The hair and the whatever you would under your fingernails? Okay. Please kind of botch that one, in my opinion. Is there anyone that's still alive that you think should be held accountable for what happened to you? Okay. If it's Alan Smith, can you make the rods go outward? Okay, thank you. Can you straighten the rods out? Can you point to where you're standing? You're over here now? Okay. Are you using my energy to use the rods? Okay, and that's okay. I'm perfectly comfortable with that. Hi. If you think Linda Smith should be held accountable, can you turn the rods outward? No. Are you trying to tell me something? Okay. I have another device. I'll continue using the rods in a minute. I have another device I'm going to grab, and you can speak into it, and I'll be able to hear you.
Like every time I ask a question, a card goes by. Beverly, do you have a message for any of your family members? You can speak into this device, and we'll be able to play it back so we can hear your voice. And here comes a card.
For something.
Anything you want to say at all, you can speak into this, and I can play it back, and we'll be able to hear your voice. Now that the cards are gone, if you have anything that you want to say, can you speak into this device, and I will play it back. And
first question I asked when the car was passing by, it sounded like she said, "Miss you." So I just wanted to end the investigation by saying thank you to Beverly for speaking with me. It's been an absolute honor. And thank you to the family member that gave me permission to be here. I really appreciate it. Um, being invested in this for almost 2 years now, it really is an honor to be here. I can't describe to you what it's like to be here and have a conversation with the person that I've been researching for so long and wondering, just like everybody else, questions. And the biggest question is why her? So, Beverly, I want to say thank you. And if there's anything that you want to say, you can speak into either of these cameras, and um, I can pass on any message that you want to give. Um, and I just wanted to say thank you for your time. I really hope that you get the justice you deserve. And I hope that to the family, I hope that you will get the closure that you need and deserve. So, again, thank you so much for letting me be here. And to everybody that's watching, again, please be kind in the comment section.